What is going on, everyone? It is your boy CJR Sports, and today we are coming back to you guys with another NFL news story. We have all the news over the last 24 hours, everything about Roger Goodell and DirecTV to Lamar Jackson getting yoked, and as you see the team on your screen, the 49ers with the whole Trey Lance situation. So let's get right into all of the news that happened so far today. So, start off easy. Tampa Bay Buccaneers wide receiver Chris Godwin is expected to return to opening day after his ACL tear last season. This is more just news for the casual fan that knows Chris Godwin, and for the fantasy football fan for sure. Chris Godwin is a major part of that team. No Antonio Brown, no Rob Gronkowski. They got Russell Gage. Tyler Johnson, played a pretty good role, but wasn't spectacular for him. And same thing goes to Scotty Miller. So there is targets that could be taken, that could be given around with the vacated targets, but Chris Godwin, we all thought, if you watch any of my fantasy football videos, we all thought that he would not be able to start the season. Even though that he is going to be or expected to return on opening day, that fully does not mean he's going to be 100% through the entire training camp. He's probably not going to play any preseason. And coming week one, there is definitely a chance where he is not 100%. It's going to take him a few weeks to get those game time reps that he needs. So there is a potential chance where Godwin isn't the Chris Godwin that we know from the past, but it's Chris Godwin and it's Tom Brady throwing him the football. I don't think you have much to worry about if you're a fantasy football fan and going to be looking to own him in some of your leagues. Someone that I would definitely go after with his current ADP for sure. Some of the best news I have heard today has to go to Roger Goodell. I know there's a lot of people that hate Roger Goodell and stuff like that. Out of some of the commissioners and the four major sports, I do believe he is, my personal opinion, the best commissioner in all of the four major sports. Say what you want. I hate Rob Manfred. I do not like Mike Silver. And who cares about hockey? So there we go. But this is the best thing Goodell has done in quite some time. But the NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell told CBNC that Sunday Ticket will most likely be leaving DirecTV and end up with a streaming service for 2023. So guys that do not know me, and most of you guys don't, but when I decided to switch from cable to a streaming service, I had to figure out what had NFL Red Zone. And the streaming service that only had NFL Red Zone was YouTube TV. YouTube TV got rid of those rights last year. We switched to Hulu, and I'm still currently on Hulu. And what it seems like is that Disney Plus is going to make a major move to acquire Sunday Ticket. If you don't know about Disney Plus, that is technically owned by Hulu. So my assumption is that Roger Goodell and Hulu, or what you want to call it, Disney Plus, will get Sunday Ticket. And for me, I don't have to change streaming services, because I would absolutely love Sunday Ticket. I love the Giants, and my current location is I don't get them on local TV, so I always have to try to get Sunday Ticket. We end up getting a Sunday Ticket last year from a college email. So if we don't have to do that and we can get it on a straight streaming service, I think more people will subscribe. It'll be way easier to subscribe, and you don't need DirecTV, because besides Sunday Ticket, there is nothing to do with DirecTV. And one of the big stories coming out today, Again, it's about the Panthers and Baker Mayfield, but the Panthers originally wanted Baker Mayfield to take a $7 million cut, but Baker was only willing to cut $3.5 million of his $18.86 million guaranteed salary this year. So that would technically, for I believe what the Browns are going to be able to pay him this year, that means that they were looking to probably get Baker Mayfield for only a few mil versus what they already did. I mean, Baker Mayfield's not going to get paid a lot from Carolina, which is weird to me because if you're going to initially start Baker over Sam Darnold, I feel like you just would have been okay paying Baker what he was asking, maybe take a little bit of a price cut, and he did. They wanted to take another half of that, or technically double what he was willing to give up, which is a little bit weird to me. But with a division that, I mean, it's still considered open. I mean, the Bucs are really the only team in the way. We don't know how the Saints are going to do under Jameis Winston. Is Mike Thomas going to play? Is Alvin Kamara going to get a 6 to 8 game suspension? We don't know. We don't know how that defense is going to look without, Marcus Williams in the back end. So it's definitely going to be interesting what the Panthers going to be able to take that step, and for them to almost lose out on Baker Mayfield for $3.5 million seems a little bit silly. But also, talking about the Panthers, now with the trade from Baker Mayfield, for them acquiring Baker Mayfield, it's very unlikely that Matt Corral will see regular season snaps this year. That's not over his career. This is just this season that they're talking about it, which makes sense to me. Why would you, unless Baker starts really shit in the bed, there's no point of starting Matt Corral. Baker does give you a better chance to win versus Matt Corral. The Panthers are very high on Matt Corral. Having him sit for a year is probably the best thing to do. Both are Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield's contracts are both up this year. You don't have to re-up anyone, and you can have Matt Corral come in to be your starting quarterback for next season. But if Baker Mayfield does start shit in the bed and they put Sam Darnold in there, he plays like normal Sam Darnold, why not try to give Matt Corral the snaps if he's already going to be in your future plans, at least for next season? The Athletic came out today with reports. It remains unclear if Robert Tonyan will be able to play week 1. Also going to try to come back from an ACL. Wow. It's going to be one of Aaron Rodgers' longest tenured Packers kind of offensive weapons. Could not be back for week 1, which to me, I think it's very underrated. Robert Tonyan was a touchdown machine 2 years ago. Last year took a little bit of regression, and then, of course, the ACL happened. I would have really liked Robert Tonyan to try to work his way back, but it happened a little bit late in the season. And he also has a lot of the blocking responsibilities more than Godwin does. So his is going to take a little bit longer to heal, of course, and him being a little bit of a bigger guy. And Tonyan versus Godwin. So I would really like, I want to see how this Green Bay Packers offense is going to look without Devontae, without MVS, without Tonyan for the first couple of weeks. I mean, it's going to be an entire new offense, and we've seen Aaron Rodgers' tattoo that he put on his body. It's about like peace and zen. So it seems like he's coming to grips with it. They have probably the best defense that they have ever had with Aaron Rodgers at the helm. So now I think they put all the chips on their defense, and they're saying Aaron Rodgers go win us the game. He hasn't been able to do that the past 2 seasons with better options at receiver. So let's see how he does with a little bit lesser options, but a massive step on that defense. Someone I've been waiting to talk about for. Has anyone seen what Lamar Jackson looks like this offseason? He got massive. He's really tightened up his throwing motion. He's been hitting the gym. Even DK Metcalf reached out to him on Twitter. Was like, "Yo, man, let me borrow a bicep." He went from 205 to 220 as a quarterback, and apparently he's throwing some of the best balls he has since his rookie season or coming out of college. So I have really high hopes for Lamar, especially with them trading away their top receiver. I know target would go to Mark Andrews, but I'm going to go receiver Hollywood Brown, trading him away. I'm excited to see what Lamar does, especially getting his running backs back should always help him. But how does he look mechanically is what I'm really excited to see, because that was the one thing that people always said about Lamar is that he never looked good mechanically. Now he put on 15 pounds. He's tightened up his throws. He just looks better. I'm excited to see how he looks coming to week 1. Looking bigger. And I'm excited to see how he runs too. Could he be a little bit more dangerous on his runs? Is he going to take more hits? I mean, 220, that's a big boy. I mean, that's no little guy, and you can visibly see it from what he looked like last year to this year. I mean, it looks light years better, especially as a quarterback that takes hits as much as Lamar does. And to our last story, and to our big Trey Lance story, Deshaun Watson was working out in Austin, Texas with a few quarterbacks over the last day or two. So I know everything's coming out with Deshaun Watson, and I don't want to keep bringing up the Browns and Deshaun Watson and everything. So we're just going to keep it just the quarterbacks. So he's working on some other quarterbacks. The quarterbacks that were named were Bears quarterback Justin Fields, Titans quarterback Malik Willis, and Ohio State quarterback C.J. Stroud. They are all very similar quarterbacks. I think C.J. Stroud and Deshaun Watson kind of resemble each other, very similar, versus actually Malik Willis and Justin Fields that are kind of very similar quarterbacks as well. Them two are very similar quarterbacks as well. If you had to kind of put similarities on each other. So I think Justin Fields is kind of helping out make Malik Willis, but Deshaun's going to help out C.J. Stroud. That would kind of be my guess on everything. But, that's just me looking at it from, it's taking a step back and kind of evaluating the quarterback. But I haven't seen Deshaun Watson throw a football since 2020. So I'm excited to see what he looks like, because he didn't want to play last year. With everything that happened. So I want to see him play in 2022. I know there's some people that do not. I really do. I want to see if he was worth the 3 first-round picks and the 2 second-round picks and the boatload of picks that the Texans got from him. I'm excited to see what Deshaun Watson looks like if he is able to play this year. And to our massive story, someone from The Athletic reported that the 49ers coach knocked down talks of Trey Lance struggling with arm fatigue. I have never heard about this a day in my life, the Niners coach told the reporter. Sports media personality Colin Cowherd and NFL reporter Mike Silver said during a recent podcast that the 49ers were trying to rebuild Lance's throwing motion because of fatigued issues. He gets arm fatigued. It's not easy to throw. He needs days off, and they're worried about his accuracy, Cowherd said. Silver said that there are some concerns about Lance's arm health within the Niners organization. It seems like a non-story and likely won't be affected in Kyle Shanahan choosing a starting quarterback for 2022. Lance should be considered the favorite, though Jimmy G, a longtime Shanahan favorite, looms large as training camps approach. So very similar, kind of what we talked about yesterday in the whole Jimmy G video and the solo clip got posted today. I personally don't think Jimmy G is going to get traded. If he were to get traded, it would have already happened. So I do think there is a little bit of truth to this. Maybe not the full arm fatigue, but I think there is a little truth that maybe the 49ers were wrong about Trey Lance. You don't go out and you don't spend 3 first-round picks to go get someone if you think he is the answer. If you think he's the correct guy. If you think he's going to take Jimmy G's starting spot. They know Jimmy G was going to start last year. This year was like, okay, it's Trey Lance's year. It's going to be Trey Lance's year. Jimmy G is still on the team, and it's probably going to start. And that's the crazy thing is, if Jimmy G starts over Trey Lance another year, we know that there's some issue going on. Not just the 49ers not liking Trey Lance, but there's some real issues going on. This is not the first time I've heard of arm fatigue from Trey Lance. There was reports of this last year too. The accuracy we knew, we could tell. We knew that was a thing. If you watched him in preseason, if you watched a few games that he played in, he looked good, but there was definitely some accuracy issues, and we knew that. But this coming out for another year, Jimmy G not getting traded, training camps in 2, almost 3 weeks now. There's a real issue going on, and we don't know fully what it is, but there's a real issue going on. If Trey Lance doesn't play at all this year, if Jimmy G's on the roster this entire season, and Trey Lance is the backup and doesn't see the field, he only sees the field like Jimmy G's hurt, and he doesn't take that starting spot. If he doesn't take that starting spot, let's say if Jimmy G hurts his thumb again, and if Trey Lance doesn't take his spot, that he will be that starter. But if he doesn't take that spot from him permanently, there is a true issue, and there's a reason why Shanahan is deciding Jimmy G over the athletic cannon of an arm Trey Lance. There's more to it than just that. And so I'm pretty sure we'll hear from this story as it keeps coming out with about Trey Lance and is Jimmy G going to get traded. You heard it here. I don't think he gets traded. I think he is a 49er comes week 1. Maybe something happens at the trade deadline. Maybe like Cleveland. Maybe with Jacoby Brissett, they go 5-2. They need a quarterback. Maybe they trade for Jimmy G. Whatever the case may be, I don't know. But I don't see Jimmy G leaving the 49ers at least this entire year. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, like this video. And if there's anything that you kind of disagree with my thoughts on the Jimmy G thing or about Robert Tonyan's ACL, whatever the case may be, leave it down in the comments. Follow my Twitter. I'm always active on Twitter. Reach out to me anytime, or if I post something, leave a comment, leave your thoughts. I love talking to you guys. But it's your boy, CJR Sports, and I'm out. Peace, guys.